Hey Ryan, Michael Sutter at the Enlivened Tech. Hey, I just wanted to appreciate your time and talking to us about your role and position with TQL, and you got a lot of responsibility going on your end. So I just wanted to ask you some kind of questions. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little about you, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Michael, I'm Ryan Kean. I'm the CIO at Total Quality Logistics. I joined TQL in 2021. Within my role, I lead the technology for the organization. We have an incredible technology team that's really responsible for delivering innovative solutions, driving value, driving efficiency across our customers, our carriers, and our brokers.
How do you ensure cybersecurity and data privacy are integrated within your IT strategies and operations?
Yes, we have a great cybersecurity team, which is very important because when you look at overall supply chain, the industry itself, as you would expect, a very
Mhm.
large target. And in fact, if you look at some research done by CargoNet, in Q1 of 2024, cargo theft was up over 46%
Wow.
over 2023, right? So you're seeing this massive increase in overall cargo theft and fraud. And that's everything from somebody parks their truck and somebody comes and just jumps in and takes the truck, which is one type of fraud, one type of theft. But we're also seeing very much more complex fraud schemes where entire truckloads are being picked up and never delivered. And but they're being done with impersonating legitimate carriers. They're being done maybe with digitally altered paperwork, and they're hiding certain things from customers.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's a growing problem. It's something that the industry as a whole is works together to try to figure out what is the best way to address and attack these things. For us, it's that mixture of not just technology, but it's awareness with our shippers, it's awareness with our carriers, but then also from an internal perspective, constantly training our associates of things to look for, right? Don't click on these things. Report these things if you see these things,
Yeah.
right? So it's a growing target. AI certainly not made this any easier for anybody. There's so many great things about AI, but the bad side is that technology is available to everybody. The good guys and the bad guys.
They're using
Um,
it against us
yeah, it
too.
is. It's pretty wild, and but it is something that we're absolutely keenly focused on every day, and working to build build those safeguards into all of our processes.
Yeah. God, who knows what's gonna look like in 25 and 26, right?
Right.
What advice do you have in to give to aspiring IT leaders or individuals interested in pursuing a career in IT leadership these days?
Yeah, I think reflecting on this one, yeah, I think one of the biggest things is don't be afraid of what you don't already know.
Mm.
I talk to a lot of new leaders who get very anxious when they're moving into a new role because they don't have technical expertise or technical experience in that role. And an example may be you have a great software engineer, but they want to move into product management and they've never been a product manager before. And so they have a lot of anxiety about making that move. I mean, to me, this is a great opportunity, right? It's a great opportunity to move into a new space and to learn. It's an opportunity to learn to ask better questions. So I love the idea of first ask a lot of questions and then learn to ask better questions. So it's a great opportunity to build out that skill. And then you bring this outsider perspective in. I mean, there's a reason that if somebody is hiring you in, they see something there. And it could be that outside perspective and those outside experiences. I've been very fortunate in my career where I would say the vast majority of leadership roles that I've had, or departments that I have had the opportunity to lead, I did not have technical expertise
Yeah.
in those areas. And the stress that put on me was, at first it was, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? I don't know this space. Well, then you learn, right? You learn to be a learner, you learn to ask questions. You learn to quickly understand who your stakeholders are.
Mhm.
And each time you do that, it gets a little bit easier to the point where you kind of build this toolkit around that. So, yeah, I think one of the most important things for aspiring leaders is, don't be afraid of what you don't know. Don't let that hold you back.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, especially in today's times, right? Just you got to give it all you got.
Yeah, who's going to know everything, right? Anymore. It used to be used to be pretty, I would say, it was much simpler. We'll say that. We'll say it was much simpler. There were less vertical pillars, right? Did you know infrastructure? Did you know servers or storage? And did you know some database? And it was all sort of similar, depending on the technologies and stuff. But now it's within each one of those pillars, it's all of a sudden so much broader. What are the AI components within that, right? How do you use data science within all this? How do the integration patterns that go with all this? How do you automate? So no one's going to know everything, and I think it's the realization that that's okay. Just be open to learn.
Yeah, knowing you, I mean, you've had experience in working for Fortune, 50 companies in the world, and that really makes a difference as well too, to be on that and to be able to share your experiences with, other people as well. So that's great.
Yep.
Can you share your thoughts on the evolving role of the CIO and the skills and competencies I can't say it, competencies required for success in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like the role has evolved quite a bit over the last several years. I think traditionally, when you look at the CIO role, it was a lot around, all right, deliver the solution and make sure it's available, right? Make sure email is available, make sure your servers and systems don't go down. And that was fantastic. And that was, I think the probably 90% of the expectation. It's table stakes now, right? That's built into the role. It's well understood. But I do feel like the role has kind of evolved a little bit more to, now you need to be more of a business strategist.
Yeah.
You need to be able to do the system thinking and look across the entire company. I mean, really, when you step back and look at it, there's very few roles within a company that have purview across everything, like the CIO does.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You understand or you have exposure to every single department, all the investments, oftentimes technology investments and non-technology investments. And you're the one that can see how can something that's happening over here potentially impact something that's 2, 3, 4 departments removed from that. So I think being able to have that scale to do that system thinking, to be able to decompose some of these things, be able to communicate at that executive level to help them understand what these things mean is very important. I also think the CIO ends up being the catalyst for change in an organization. So, I know CIO is Chief Information Officer. I at times think it also means change intensity officer. So you're the person that drives change within the overall organization. And so, which is a huge opportunity, but a huge, there's a lot of, I would say, pressures and expectations that come with that. Because, you can change in a good way and you can drive change that doesn't turn out so well, right? So ultimately, I think the role is one of the most difficult and rewarding in the company. And I think when you find that great fit, it's personally for me, it's been like the most rewarding role of my entire career.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That could be a new title too, right? Or add the
Yeah,
title,
we
add the
should
title
start
to
putting
the
that
top of
on
your
some
head.
LinkedIn profiles.
Oh yeah, so thanks. Looking ahead, what are the biggest opportunities and challenges you foresee for IT in your industry, right? Looking forward and
Yeah, it's interesting. So I was at a recent a recent exec class, and they were talking about there's very, very few things that you can reasonably predict about the future. I mean, everybody predicts everything, but there's very few things that you could say, I know 100% of the time I'm going to get this right. And the one thing that you can always get right is how many people are going to enter the workforce in 20 years. And it's entirely based upon today's birth rate.
mm,
So when you look at some of the challenges across all industries, not just supply chain, all industries, changing demographics, an aging population, a
mhm.
lowering birth rate, are going to drive this is can be a bit of a longer burn. This might be a 5, 10, 15-year burn, but it's already starting to occur. And so you're going to see folks, kind of go to one end of that and say, well, we have to automate everything, right? We need to kind of get the humans out because we're not going to have as many workers in the future.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that potentially is a solution, but we've seen some of that in our industry. And what you find is there's a huge breakdown in overall service that you provide to that customer. And it becomes a very much a business challenge for some of the folks that have gone down that path. For us, this is why we leverage hard into that high touch, high tech. So how do you make the folks that you have, the great people that are working with our carriers and our customers every single day, how do you make them as effective and productive as possible? And so every time that they get on the phone or they're meeting with a customer or a carrier, they have incredible confidence. They have the confidence of every system behind them is there to help them be successful. It's help them to drive that trust, build that relationship. And to do that, I think you have to have that personal touch in there. And so I think overall, when you look at these challenge, the big challenge is, I think for the entire globe over the next 10, 20 years, is going to be changing demographics. But when you look at particular in industries themselves, you got to be able to say, how does that big challenge apply to my industry? And how do I not lose what ultimately is the catalyst and the most important things in our industry? And for me, for us, that is all about that customer service, that customer touch. And so that use of technology and being able to balance automation with this, or new capabilities, technology capabilities that are out there, balance between going too far where you lose that touch with the shipper, with our customers and our carriers, or not doing it enough and finding from an overall process perspective, you're highly ineffective in the future. So I think that challenge for us is, and anybody really, is going to be trying to find that balance point in the middle there.
Yeah, those are great insights. Anything else you want to add to anything else on the today or?
Um, no, I mean, really excited for the opportunity to get the chat, Michael. It's great
Yeah.
seeing you again. I'm really excited about the work we're doing at TQL. We have an amazing team and an amazing industry. I'm excited to see where in the next 2 to 3, 4 years where we go as we look to build, what I think is going to be the best freight platform in our entire industry.
Yeah. Well, you've heard it from Ryan directly, so it's awesome. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you guys even grow more and handle all these new business challenges. And we're all with you.
Great. Thank you,
So,
Michael.
cool, cool.